It's the next level.
Hmm? Ah!
Why are you so angry, John?
Because you're cheating. You and your people. Communicate with the outside world whenever you want to. You come and go as you please. You use electricity and running water and guns. You're a hypocrite. A Pharisee. You don't deserve to be on this island. If you had any idea what this place really was, you wouldn't be putting chicken in your refrigerator.
You've been here 80 days, John. I've been here my entire life. So how is it that you think you know this island better than I do?
Because you're in the wheelchair, and I'm not.
Welcome to another episode of We Have to Go Back, Lost Revisited, as we continue along with our journey into the third season of the series. I am one of your hosts, Ben.
And I'm Kristen. This week, we dive deeper into Season 3, this time with Episode 13, The Man from Tallahassee. I just want to go on record and say that there is a word missing from our agenda here in This Week Dive Deeper, and I think that's why we always go off the rails when we open up this show.
Yes, but the thing is, how often do we actually follow the agenda?
I'm just telling you, I think it's your fault that this is the way that it is.
I'll take the blame for it. I was the one that edited it this week. It's fine. It's my fault. It's totally my fault.
Yeah, but the amount of times that we don't look at this, I'll bet that that's been there the whole time.
I think it is, because I haven't touched that part of the agenda probably in weeks. I just love the fact that our agenda, for those of you that don't know, the agenda is basically like our script of the main points of the podcast, like our introductions, the feedback, stuff like that. And when we first started this podcast 51 episodes ago, it used to say like, oh, here's who we have the feedback from and everything else. This agenda used to be like, I think like 2.5 pages. It's now down to 1 page and it's completely bare bones. I'm surprised it doesn't just say like Ben, Kristen, intro, talk episode, close out podcast.
Talk episode.
Yeah, exactly.
You sound like Kevin from The Office. Me talk. Know why?
But I'm surprised that's not what our agenda has become at this point. It keeps shrinking every week. It's like, do we really have to say like, I'm Ben and I'm Kristen? We know who we are.
Well, it's for anybody that wants to listen and say, who is this person that I need to trash on social media?
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
What was your name? Kristen?
Fiddle faddle.
Garbage.
And you know what? I don't want that to sound like we get a ton of criticism, because we really don't. I mean...
Oh, I don't care. It's fine.
No. Don't get me wrong. We love the reviews when you leave them on iTunes and Apple and Google and all that fun stuff. We love them. They definitely help out the podcast. If you want to leave us feedback, please do. Just know that if it's incredibly criticizing us, we don't care.
Well,
we're going to continue to do things the way we have fun to do it.
Yeah, I stopped reading reviews back when I was doing my Game of Thrones podcast, because it got so toxic and horrible that I was like, oh, you know what? This isn't good for my heart. Just because people are so mean. And I understand that, you want to leave your opinion and you want to, get your own voice out there, and I think that that's great. I just think it's also really important to know that there are people that you're talking about, and whether it's nice or mean or whatever, like, thank you so much for actually taking the time to go and review us. I mean, that's really kind, but then you're not kind. I don't know what the reviews say. Honestly, honest to God, I've never read one review for this podcast.
I'm the one that reads them.
Yeah.
And all I'll say is like, look, if you do have an issue with something that we're doing, there are ways to tell us constructively. And that just doesn't go for this podcast. That goes for any podcast. Like podcasters, reviews
it's
are
a
huge.
Lot of work.
It is. It's a lot of work. You can't make everybody happy all the time. And that's something as a podcaster you have to realize. And not just as a podcaster, as anything that you do, whether it be actor, radio host, artist, anything. You can't make everybody happy all the time. It's never going to happen. So if this goes to everybody, not just for our podcast, but if you're reviewing anything, like it could be a product made on Etsy or something. If you have criticisms, leave them constructively, because there is a lot of work that goes into doing things like this. You don't have to be mean about it. There are definitely reviews that we've gotten of people who said like, hey, love the podcast. Here's something you could probably do a little different. I love that. Constructive criticism is amazing.
Yeah.
So just don't be like, oh, you guys don't know what the hell you're talking about and blah, 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 blah. If you got that to say, just don't say it at all. It's, leave it alone. Leave that shit at home.
That's like what I tell my kids, I'm like, just don't say anything to anybody that you wouldn't want them to say to you.
Exactly.
Like think about that. Like a big thing in our house is words matter. Like we say it so much that I can see my kids when they're older saying, let's make fun of mom. Words matter. Like that's how often I say it. And I think that words do matter. I mean, look, I'll talk shit like the best of them, but I don't know. I don't ever feel good after I do it, unless somebody really deserves it. And then I'm like, yeah, let's talk shit about them, like right now.
Well, that's like something we were talking about before we were prepping to, and I apologize. We've already gone off topic, but it's fine. Again, it's something that we like to do, so we're going to continue to do it. It's one of those things that, you and I talk shit about each other, but we don't do it behind each other's backs. Like we
no, never.
Totally. If we have shit to talk about one another, it's always all in good fun for starters. And we totally do it right to each other. It's completely fine.
Yeah. I mean, somebody actually asked me, and we talked about this before we started recording. Somebody asked me, does Ben know that you're saying this about him? I go, not only does he know it, but I'm going to text him and let him know that I'm saying this right now, because I don't like the fact that you think that I'm not being on the up and up.
And I think my response was like, oh, that's fun. Why don't you tell them about this too? I join in on the fun, and it's just, and that's what it should be. So, bottom line, we appreciate the reviews. While Kristen doesn't read them, I definitely do. If you have something to say, please send it to us and let us know. And if you have criticisms, that's fine. Just leave them to us constructively. Don't be a dick.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where the more star pops up.
The more you know.
Exactly. I wish I would have had that set. If I knew we were going to be doing this, I would have brought that sound effect in.
Yeah, but you never know what's going to happen in the Ben and Kristen radio hour.
Exactly.
We did think of a good new podcast, though.
We'll
talk about it at the end. Yeah.
Yep.
Because it's going to be awesome.
Yes, our next new podcast is going to be amazing. Just from the name alone, is going to be amazing. Just fantastic.
Well, let's get back on track for this podcast. What do you say, friend?
Let's do that. If you are unfamiliar with this podcast, welcome. But we have to let it known, this is a spoiler-full podcast. You will hear us talk about things that have happened in the past of the series, as well as things yet to come when it comes to the series as well. Because this is a rewatch podcast, so you're going to hear things that have already happened. But with that being said, season 3, episode 13, The Man from Tallahassee. This is probably one of, if not my favorite episodes from season 3.
Really? Yes. I would very much like to hear why.
Well, it's a John Locke episode. I mean, John Locke's episodes are fantastic. And going into this episode, one of the main reasons, just a quick sum up before we do the breakdown as to why I love this episode, is there are 2 things that really stand out to me, especially in having watched this episode twice again. One, we finally get the reveal of John's backstory of why he is paralyzed.
That's true.
And the way it's done, I think, is kind of brilliant. We'll get into that. But also at the same time, the show kind of got away a little bit since last season, or not since last season, since the beginning of this season. It took a short break of the manipulation of Ben, and this week we are right back to it. This episode shines a light so bright on how much of a master manipulator Ben truly is. And I love it so much. Like, this is the episode that really finally starts to build that dynamic of John and Ben. We got it earlier, especially a little bit last season. We get it so much more from this point forward.
Yeah, I can see that. I do remember watching this episode the very first time just because of the way that John was injured, because I was shocked. I did not expect that at all. And I love it when television gives you something that you don't expect.
Well, I mean, and you know what? I'm just going to dive into that now.
Please do.
Of the brilliance of that, because, you know, we've gotten a number of different flashbacks of John Locke, and every time it's always been alluded to. And there was even one, I think, where he was in a car accident, and we were wondering if that was how he ended up paralyzed, and he wasn't. And they've done so well so far as to, like, giving us these little hints and, like, teases that maybe this is how John got paralyzed. Maybe this is how he got paralyzed.
Right.
And you know, it got to the point where it became so monotonous to us as viewers that we finally kind of just gave up and been like, you know what, eventually they're going to reveal it. We'll just wait it out. We're not going to play with these teases anymore. And then this week, the story is so intensive with him, you know, re-confronting his father, and, you know, the death of, oh God, I can't remember the character's name now. The woman's son, that when it does happen, it comes out of
Peter Talbot.
That's it. It comes out of fucking nowhere. Like, it was something you were not because you're so drawn into the story of him confronting his father again in that suite, that when he turns around and pushes him out the window, you are taken totally by surprise. And I thought that was so brilliant of the writers to do it that way.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Well, you know, and that's an issue that I had with this episode. Just a little issue is that I feel like Locke is a little lost right now. And this really shows, like, why he's as lost as he is. Like, he always seems to have this direction that he's going into, you know, and he's got all this faith in what he's doing on the island. He seems like he's really steadfast. You know, he's had like his doubts, of course, over the last 3 seasons, but, you know, he's more or less pretty much on the same path, right? He really believes that he's supposed to be on this island. And he seems so overconfident in this episode. He doesn't have the usual caution that he does. You know, he observes and he looks and he makes his move later, and his moves always seem to be like almost calculated. And this time he was so tunnel visioned on getting to Ben and finding this submarine and blowing it up. He left his friends to be captured. He left himself open to be manipulated from Ben. And that's kind of the tunnel vision that we see in this flashback, right? Where he's so intent on getting revenge on his father that he doesn't see how dangerous his father really is. I can definitely see that. I mean, you're right. Because from the moment he found out about this submarine, he was on a quest that this submarine needed to go. But he didn't tell anybody that that's what he was going to do. I mean, Kate and Saeed could have gotten killed for all we know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right. He throws caution to the wind. He doesn't care about himself or anybody else for that point.
But see, that goes directly against him acting as leader after Echo died. And don't do it. Okay, it didn't. After he died and he comes back to the beach and he and he assumes that leadership role that Jack had left open from his absence. And he was really kind of coming into his own as this inclusive leader, as somebody who really valued other people's opinions and whatnot. And then all of a sudden he like throws it all away just to blow up a submarine. And it's like, I don't know. It didn't connect for me.
Well,
it seemed like a real departure from the evolution of his character over this season.
And I definitely see that. I mean, it's one of those things that you're right. He started making this evolution of this character, and it seemed to have changed, and like a switch was flipped the moment he met Mikel.
Yes.
You know, and
I mean, he started lying to Saeed, and it just doesn't sit well with me, of course, but I mean, I enjoy the ride of Lost, so it's fine.
Well, it's also interesting too that one of the other notes that I have, and I have very few notes, like I'm kind of winging this episode like you did last time, but
every week,
yeah. Well, and that's the evolution of this podcast too. Is instead of like pages and notes, now we're just kind of like bouncing off ideas, and it works out great. But one of the things I did make a note of too is that it's very interesting that we almost see that change in dynamic just in this episode alone. Because as we see Locke, Saeed, and Kate standing outside of the compound, you know, and Kate wanting to rush in headlong, and you know, John's kind of the voice of reason in that moment. You know, he says like, "Look, the first moment I met Jack, he was helping rescue people from a plane. You know,
yes, that was so good.
If he's in there, I'm sure he has a reason why." You know,
right.
In that moment, we got a glimpse of that leader, Locke, that you alluded to, because he is the voice of reason. Like, he's the one calming Saeed down. And then it turns out this was all part of Locke's plan to begin with.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, he has that really good little mini speech, and he makes total sense. And it turns out that is actually true, right? But then he leaves his friends in the dust and he goes off on his own little side mission. And that's just, it's bullshit. I don't know. I had a little bit of an issue with it. That's all.
I can see it. I mean, you know, he even lies to Kate and Saeed too. And he's like, I'll approach from this side. Saeed, you approach from this side. Kate, you go in the front, or you go in the back, you know, and lies to Kate and says like, no, it's better if he sees you first, which, granted, that's probably true. Of the three of them, it is probably best that Jack sees Kate first because he has the biggest connection with her. But when he sends Saeed and Kate off, he doesn't even stick to his own plan to go off, like you said, and do his own thing.
So he left. Well, that was my point, right? He left them to be captured for his own tunnel vision, just like he had that tunnel vision when it came to his father.
Yes,
which ultimately got him thrown out an 8-story window.
Yeah. There's something very interesting about that too, the follow-up to that. And this is kind of jumping to a different topic, but still sticking with John. There's that moment when he is in the hospital and those government agents are talking to him and, you know, letting them know they can't find his father. There's that moment when the orderly comes in and says, you know, like, we need, you know, you're gonna get up. And John says, I can't do that. The orderly looks at him and says, I don't want to hear what you can't do.
I picked up on that too. That's one of my notes as well. Yeah.
Like, this is the beginning of the whole, don't tell me what I can't do. I think it stems from that orderly.
Mm-hmm.
I think
that's great.
I think it's
too.
The orderly that actually kind of instills that in him. And that is what creates John's stubborn nature of don't tell me what I can't do. But, you know, before that moment, John was like, no, I can't do this. And I want to say bravo to Terry O'Quinn, because I'm not paralyzed. You're not paralyzed. I know people who have been in similar situations. That whole moment of him realizing that he is trapped in that wheelchair and breaking down, he captures that so well.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what that is like for somebody going through that situation of realizing, like, my life is completely different now. Like,
it's funny because I've had 2 epidurals now from babies. So that numbs you from the waist down. So it's weird because I know what it kind of feels like to lose your feeling from the waist down. Like, pretty much most moms probably do that have had an epidural. And it's a odd feeling.
I can imagine. So
I don't know what I would do if that was my life, I guess is the point. I would be like, whoa.
That's what I mean. Bravo to Terry O'Quinn for capturing
Absolutely.
that moment the way that he did when he acted that out. So what about you? What's something else that you kind of want to bring up to talk about this episode?
Okay, so let's switch gears a little bit. I want to talk about Jack for a little bit. So Jack is real interesting in this episode because I felt, first of all, when I first saw him in this episode, I realized I felt the show, even without him, is a full show. The cast is so good and the story is so rich that I didn't feel like we had a void with Jack being gone for a couple of episodes. And look, my feelings about Jack are very known, but at the same time, I don't know, like, I watch Walking Dead, right? Michonne leaves for a couple of episodes and I'm like, when are we bringing her back? I need her back. Rick Grimes leaves the show and you're like, oh my gosh, there is a massive hole in this show. And, they've righted the ship and it's a lot better, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't get that feeling. And maybe it's because we took a holiday break. I'm not really sure. But I just, when then he came back and he just seemed to only be thinking about himself. He was going to leave the island. If they hadn't gotten there when they did, he probably would have left the island. And knowing that there was no way that he would have come back, to me, it just seemed really, really selfish that, who knows? Do you think that he would have tried to find the island again and get them saved?
I do. And I do have a little bit of a difference of opinion on that because there is that moment with him and Kate where he says, like, I'll get help and I'll bring help back. I don't think there's a doubt in my mind he would have. I think he would have, and I think that's part of the hero complex that Jack suffers from. Is I absolutely think he would have done everything he could to find a way back to that island. Look at, looking ahead into the future, look at what he goes through with the whole "we have to go back" issue. Once he's one of the Oceanic Six, he's literally flying every day in hopes that the plane he's on will crash back on that island so he can get back. I have no doubt in my mind if he got off that island, he would have done everything he could to get back and rescue everyone else. That's my opinion on everything.
Okay. Well, I respect that. I don't know. I got this really strong feeling of selfishness in this episode. Like, I just don't think he was, thinking about others. And maybe he was. I don't know. I'm really like wishy-washy on Jack right now because I just didn't really feel like he had a lot to do. Maybe it's that he didn't have a lot to do. Well, I just need Jack back in the fray.
Well, I do get your point. There's two separate points to be made to this. One, I think I kind of see it a little bit different, as in Jack is making a sacrifice to in joining these guys in order to get off the island so that he can get everybody rescued. He sees this as a way that he can do it. But at the same time, I do see exactly where you're coming from with Jack and this cast being so flushed out and so put together that, let's say this season had played out differently and Jack had gotten off the island. I think the show would not have suffered if for the rest of this season, Matthew Fox wasn't a part of it and he returned next season. Like, found a way back
I
to
also
the island.
I feel that way. Like, if Locke left or if Sawyer left or it, like, I feel like even if one of these main characters leaves, it doesn't hurt the show.
Well, that just goes to further your point about how strong the cast really is. Like, they've done a great job of building up these characters so well on their own, and there's so many of them that at this point in time, there's no main character. They're all supporting characters.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, I'm sure that there's a lot of people that think that it's Jack, Locke, and Kate, but, you know, there could be a case to be made for the fact that it is a truly ensemble cast.
It is. It absolutely is.
So when I say Jack could lift right out of the show, I mean that with but I don't mean it as in I hate Jack. I mean it as in he doesn't keep the show chugging along. None of them do.
Yeah.
Right? The show's got so many stories. I mean, Locke's backstory and the reason why he was there was, you know, a better story than Jack leaving the island and playing piano and talking to Kate.
Well, and you're right. This is one of the first flashbacks that we've gotten in a while that has been this strong. Like, that has actually kept me engaged.
Agreed. Mm-hmm.
You know, because some of the other ones, you're just kind of be like, okay, can we just flash back to the island now, like, and continue that story? But you're right. This is the first week in a while where the flashback was super strong, and I was incredibly engaged. And I just want to say on that note too, I completely forgot he was in this episode, but Peter Talbot was the actor Patrick Adams. Love him from the TV show Suits.
Oh, I've never seen that show.
Oh God, Suits is one of my favorite USA shows, with the exception of like Psych and Burn Notice. But
so it's your third favorite.
It's in my top 3. They're in no particular order, because all 3 of those shows are one's a comedy about a detective, one's about a spy, and the other one's about lawyers. They're completely different shows, but they're in my top 3. But Patrick Adams, I had completely forgot appeared in this show, even just for this episode. So it was nice seeing him pop up. It was nice to see another friendly face.
Yeah, I like it when they have actors that you're like, oh my gosh, that person goes on to do like some really amazing things. Like Cudlitz was in a couple of episodes, right? When Cudlitz shows up, I get really excited.
And like, I think we see him again in the final season too. I think he's part of the Flash. I think he's part of the Flash Sideways.
Probably. That seems right.
In the scene with John and his father, did you happen to notice what they were drinking?
Oh,
yeah,
no, but
I like how you inhaled, like you were ready to agree with me, and you're like, "Oh no, that's not where I thought
you were going somewhere different."
No, they're drinking the McCutcheon whiskey.
Oh yeah, the really expensive stuff.
Which is the same stuff that I believe Jin's or Son's father had, and Charles Whitmore was drinking.
Charles Whitmore. Yep. Yes, and that Desmond was drinking on the beach with Hurley and Charlie.
And I think it's also the same whiskey that he was loading into the back of the... Oh, no, that was wine. Never mind. That was something different. When he was at the monastery. I think that was wine.
I thought you were going to say what Locke was watching on television with his TV dinner.
I didn't... Is it something special? I didn't even... Is he watching Expose?
He was watching Expose.
I didn't even pick up on that.
Yeah.
How do we know it's Expose? They never show the television screen, do they?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, damn it. I missed that.
Well, you know, I think the reason why you missed it is because his apartment is so filthy that it's hard to get past. Like when Sam Talbot comes in and he starts making the instant coffee for both of them, I felt like I could... What did I say?
Sam.
Oh, yeah, because he's a chef I really like. Sam Talbot is a chef that I really like. Yay. Anyways, so when Peter Talbot comes in and he's making the coffee, I swear I could smell the apartment. It just looked so gross. It looked so gross that I couldn't like think about anything else while watching that scene. I have a smell issue. I like it. Like anybody that comes into my house and anybody that's been to my house will tell you that this is true. If you walk into my house, I go, does my house smell bad? Does it smell bad in here? Because you don't live here. So I need to know, like, do I need to do something about the smell of the house? I'm obsessed with it.
It totally makes sense, though. I mean, that you would be that way about it. Not to say, like, your house smells at all. I'm getting way ahead of myself, and I'm losing myself in this conversation. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch that scene now to see if it's well, not to see if you're true, but to actually see it for myself that he's watching Expose. That's amazing.
Yeah, so he is watching Expose, and he's eating a really horrible TV dinner, and his apartment smells bad. And then, Peter Talbot shows up, and they drink disgusting instant coffee that my grandparents used to drink.
Yeah, I never had instant coffee, and I don't plan on ever having instant coffee. So,
so the trivia, I just pulled it up. It says this episode drops several hints about the next episode, Expose. Locke watches Expose on television, and an ad for Colt 45 featuring Billy D. Williams appears in the background.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm definitely gonna have to. I'm gonna have to see that. Okay, so I'm trying to think of the next points I wanted to make. So I want to see.
Oh, wait, before.
Go ahead.
Well, I just read something in the trivia that I thought was really awesome. It says Anthony Cooper Adam Seward is an anagram for Sawyer the con man, a poor dad.
What? I love when they do shit like that.
I do too. Sorry, I saw that. I go, oh, I have to say it right now.
Yeah, before you forget about it. Like that's amazing. That's right. I forgot about that.
The end?
Well, no, we'll get to that. No, but there's something else in the trivia too that I'm reading as well that I completely forgot about, and I kind of touched base on last week, and I didn't exactly know how the two of them connected, and that this is it. I mentioned last week about how Jacob has been a part of everybody's life before they even went to the island. Like, he's the one that handed Sawyer the pen that he wrote the note to the con man.
You're talking about the fall.
The fall. I forgot about that. We won't see this until season 5. But after Locke falls out the window, Jacob is the first person to approach him and touch him.
And he lives.
And he survives. Like, that's... that goes into my point I made last episode, was that of how Jacob was a part of their lives even before they made it to the island. Everybody was touched by Jacob before they made it to that island. Which, I love that shit.
Yeah, I like it when Jacob shows up too. I think that a lot of puzzle pieces start kind of falling into place once Jacob shows up, and I like the character Jacob.
I do too. I like the actor that plays Jacob as well.
Yeah, me too. Anytime I see him anywhere else, I'm like, hey, it's Jacob.
Well, I find it funny that in Lost he plays Jacob, which is like a godlike character, and in Supernatural he was literally he was the devil. So
I've never seen Supernatural.
So he's played both sides of that story of the religious spectrum. So here's my question to you. With everything that goes on, do you think that, and this is kind of diving into a point we kind of already talked about, where you said, like, had John not showed up and blown up the submarine, and Jack gotten off the island, do you think Ben would have still let Jack get off the island had John not showed up? Or do you think Ben would have found another way to prevent Jack and Juliet from leaving?
Oh, that's a good question. What do you think?
I think Ben kind of let everything play out because he has such a faith in things that are going to happen that I think... but then again, I don't know. I think Ben is I think he's such a manipulator. I think he would have found a way to prevent it. But when John shows up and he realizes why John is there, he sees that as his out. Because, like, even in that moment when Jack and Juliet come into Ben's apartment or Ben's house, and Jack says, I know you don't owe me anything, but I want to let my friends go. There's that moment where you see it in Ben's face when he's like, you have my word. The moment you leave the island, your friends are free to leave. Knowing full well.
Yeah. Well, you knew
that. Yeah. He knew at that moment what John's plan was, and they were never getting off the island. So he could make that deal and not go back on his word.
Right. Well, and that's just like he said, he told Jack, yeah, you're going to get off Hydra Island. Like, I promise I'll let you leave this island. And Jack didn't know that there were 2 islands at the time.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so he's very pedantic, that Ben.
But yeah, but I mean, like, he knows exactly what he's doing. Like, he is not stupid at all.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like, and that's why, and that's one of the reasons why he is one of my, I mean, I know he is a master manipulator. He's evil. But he's so complicated and he's so intriguing that is why he is still to this day one of my favorite characters of the series. Because I'm always...
he's a very good character.
I'm always intrigued by what he's going to do and what he's going to do next. And his character has such a dynamic arc because by the end of the series, you know, and this is jumping literally to the series finale when everybody's outside of that church, and there's that moment where he says, "No, I'm just going to stay here," because he realizes he doesn't deserve to move on with everybody else. Like nope. I love that moment with him because you actually feel something for him at that point. I did. You know, for somebody to realize that on his own, like, he could have very easily still gone into that church and moved on, even if he didn't deserve it.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, but for somebody to realize himself, like, no, I'm good where I am. You know, because he knows he doesn't deserve to move on. That's such a clarity and intelligence in one person.
You know? I like it when people are self-aware.
And even and I won't jump into too many spoilers, but let's just say the moment with him witnessing Alex.
Okay,
like, God, my heart sank for him.
So I'm glad that you said this because I wanted to say, like, one of my favorite parts of this episode was Saeed and Alex's very small exchange, where Saeed put these seeds of doubt into Alex so deftly, to the point that, you know, he got a nice kidney shot for it, because he had revealed something to Alex that people have kept from her, right? Mm-hmm. And you know, he said, I loved it that he's like, you look so much like your mother. And she's like, my mother's dead. And he says, oh, is that what they told you? And it's like, that's earth shattering for a teenager, right? I mean, for an adult, that's just like, you're crazy or something like that, right? But, and then later, you know, it goes, people can let that sink in. But for Alex, I think that she immediately knew that he was telling the truth, you know? I don't know. What do you think?
No, I agree with that. I think there was a part of her that kind of instantly realized that, yeah, like, you know, when she says to
she
Saeed,
looks nothing like her dad.
I know she doesn't. And it, you know, it's almost interesting too, because there are those moments when John brings Ben out of the bedroom and they're walking through the living room and Ben is staring at the pictures of Alex on the wall. I think there's even a moment of clarity from Ben's side where I think he's starting to realize this secret might come out now. Like
the fact that he didn't think that it would come out at some point with her mother on the actual island, I just it's beyond me.
Yeah. But I mean, I think he comes to a moment of realization and clarity when he's staring at those pictures, like, she's not going to be my daughter much longer. Mm-hmm. Like, this secret's going to come out. Like, he's reflecting on the time, because I there's no doubt in my mind that he loves Alex. Like, you know, even though she's not his daughter, I have no doubt that he raised her as a daughter and he loves her like a daughter. Even though he's willing to sacrifice her for the cause, in which ends up happening. It kind of backfires on him and that happens, but there's still no doubt in my mind that he loves Alex. But I think you're right. I think in that moment when Saeed tells Alex that, you know, she looks like her mother, I think she believes him. I think there's something in his eyes that she sees, and she instantly believes him that he's telling the truth.
Poor Saeed, he had to sit outside too. Everybody else got to go inside, and they put poor Saeed outside at the playground with 2 guards. I mean, Kate didn't even get 2 guards.
And Kate's probably just as dangerous as Sayid.
Right?
Let's be realistic. Sayid's dangerous. Kate's probably just as dangerous.
Yeah, she's gotten herself out of some sticky situations.
And Kate's probably at that point now where it's like she's literally feeling the point where she's got nothing left to lose.
Right.
You know, because she's got nobody, you know, with the exception of Sawyer, who's still sitting on a beach reading a book. You know, she's got nothing left to lose at this point. So Kate's just as dangerous. I do find it very interesting in that moment with Mr. Friendly, Kate, and Jack. And this is one of the reasons why I actually like Tom Friendly's character is when he, you know, when he says to Kate, I didn't think I'd see you again this soon. And he lets Jack in the door. It's really interesting when he says to Jack, be careful, and points to his ears as in like people are listening.
Right.
Like, why would you let Jack in on that if you didn't, if there wasn't a little bit of good to your character?
Well, I love Tom Friendly. I think that he is a good man when it comes down to it.
I do too. I think he's just following orders. You know, I don't think he's a nefarious character. I don't think there's anything evil about him. I think he's just literally one of those men that were recruited to the island, as Ben had said, and he's literally just doing what he's told. You know?
Yeah, I agree.
And the fact that he's playing football with Jack, like I feel like he probably has become friends with Jack at this point. Like, otherwise, why are you playing football with him?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's definitely, I think that most of the people there are probably all of the same, you know, kind of generally good natured, you know, people that are there. You know, there's a few zealots, and then there's Ben, who is kind of a puppet master for everything else, you know, and maybe the bulk of them are unaware of even how deep that manipulation goes.
Oh, I guarantee you most of them probably don't know, you know, how deep that goes and how much of a manipulator Ben really is, you know, because they probably just are living there thinking they're doing what they were recruited to do.
Right, exactly. And they have no idea that, you know, they're stuck there forever on that island.
Yeah. Or they will be at that point. Well, actually, no, you're right. At that point, they're not stuck there yet. They can still get off, but they can never come back.
Right. Well, at the end of this episode, that kind of, you know.
That changes.
Yeah. I don't know if you can hear anything in the background here, but my cat has found a pencil.
I can hear it, but it's fine.
Okay. He's already fallen out of the window, and he brought a pencil down with himself, and now he's...
So he pulled the John Locke.
He did. Well, he fell out the other side of the window once, and I still have a broken screen from it, but this time he just fell out the window inside, so that's good.
Let's see. So before we dive into that final moment, what else have you got?
Nothing.
Okay. I'm right there with you. I think we've pretty much covered most of what I had for this episode. So that brings us into that final moment of the episode. The magic box, and in which we see Richard Alpert on the island for the first time.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited when I saw him. That was actually in my notes. I totally forgot. I love that. I love this character so much. I'm so excited that he's there. He's on the island, and we're gonna get some more Richard Alpert.
Yeah, because I think we've only seen him one time before this, and that was in Juliet's flashback. Am I wrong about that, or have we met him before?
No, I think we've seen him one other time.
Okay.
I can't tell you when, but I'm pretty sure we've seen him one other time.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not too familiar.
Let me look. Richard Alpert, click. This is very exciting for people listening. This is very exciting. First scene, not in Portland.
Which was
how many episodes?
That was Juliet's flashback.
He was in season 3. Let's see. Character appearances. Oh, I love it when they make these little grids. I don't know if you've ever seen them.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Episode 8 was Flashes Before Your Eyes.
Oh, so
Episode 13 was Man from Tallahassee.
So we've seen him twice.
So it looks like he was... Let me see. What does the orange mean? Orange means character appears in a flashback.
Okay. So we've seen him twice at this point. Before this point.
Yes.
This is our third time seeing him. Correct?
Season 2.
No, this is this is our second time seeing him. I'm looking at the grid right now. The first time was episode 8, which was not in Portland, and that was in a flashback. And then episode 13, which is this current episode, is when he appears on the island. This is our second time seeing Richard.
Episode 8 is called Flashes Before Your Eyes.
Okay, so then I think the grid is incorrect.
Because, not in Portland was episode 7.
Which was Juliet's. It should have been episode 7, not episode 8. The wiki's incorrect. Because Flashes Before Your Eyes, that was Desmond's flashback. He's not in Desmond's flashback.
Are we sure about that?
Yes. But yes, that was the You're Gonna Die, Charlie episode.
You're gonna die, Charlie.
Every time you say it, I feel like it's something that comes out of Willy Wonka.
I'm okay with that.
But yeah, so this is the second time we're seeing Richard Alpert. I love the whole Ben telling John, like, picture a box, picture anything you want, and picture it being in that box. And John's reaction is, I hope you can picture another submarine. You know, like, what a smart ass.
I do like that a lot.
But yeah, the Man from Tallahassee is revealed to be John's father, Anthony Cooper. And he is very real and very on the island at that point.
He looks very scared.
And I think almost kind of confused at that point as well. Scared and confused. And I think those two kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, I would say. Well, I mean, I don't know. Does he know that John lived through that, or does he think that? I don't think
he knows if John lived through it or not, because I think he probably immediately fled. I think he probably assumes that he killed John. And now
I know who kills Anthony Cooper.
Oh God, yeah, I can't wait for that.
That's a great episode.
That's a fantastic episode.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that.
But yeah, I mean, I think not only is he seeing John still alive, but he's walking like he's normal. And I think that really brings a sense of confusion. Like, even if he knew John survived, the fact that he's up and about and standing in front of him, standing being the key word, I'm sure confuses and maybe even scares the hell out of him.
Absolutely. Which is great. Yeah.
So there's going to be the Anthony Cooper stuff, though, I don't think happens until next season. With Who Kills Anthony. I think that's next season. Or maybe because I think that involves no, it's not. I don't remember.
Well, we'll see. I love it when we don't remember. It's fun.
Yeah, I think that's still this season. So but yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I have for this episode.
Yep, me too.
I saw another note on this too. I'm seeing this now in the reoccurring themes. Apparently I saw this on another website too. Apparently there's a car that is in a lot of flashback scenes of John. And it's a golden Pontiac.
Interesting.
Yeah, apparently, actually, I think it appears. Oh yeah, it appears in 4 different episodes. It appears in the episode where John is hit, where John Locke is hit. It appears. Actually, it's the car that Kate hits when she crashes the car. It's the car that hits Michael, and it's also in the background of when Hurley crashes the Camaro in the premiere of next season. And it also drives past the flower shop in this episode of The Man from Tallahassee. So there's
I love it. I love little Easter eggs like that.
So there's a lot of
you think it's Jacob?
There's apparently in an episode of the Official Lost podcast, Damon Lindelof and Carlton Cuse claimed that they did not know about the Golden Pontiac until they had read a question about whether it was significant. Then they joked that it was actually Jacob, who could only take the form of a car when he was off the island.
Or he was driving the car, but
or
okay,
he was driving
sure.
the car. Yeah. So, it could be Jacob driving the car, as part of.
Let's just pretend that that's what it is, because that sounds fun.
Yeah, that is fun. So how did we do this last week? Did we do feedback and then manifest, or did we talk manifest first?
I think we talked manifest first.
I think we did too. So let's jump into this week's edition of Manifest Minutes. I don't think this is going to take very long.
Meow.
Is that our sounder going into the next segment?
Yeah, it's a plane.
It's the plane flying over.
We're going from 815 to 828.
So you started with me last week. I'm going to start with you last week. This is the second episode of the show of the second season, titled Grounded. What were your thoughts on this second episode?
Well, I don't know. How's that?
Okay.
I loved the first season, or the first episode of the season. I thought it was really great. I thought it was a good setup. I was really excited. There are tired tropes for me in television, and one of them is the love triangle. I think that we don't need it in this television show. I think that the bullheaded, jealous ex is tired and old. I think the fact that they have this new captain who is willing to take eyewitness testimony as fact from Jared and not from the actual victim of the incident. I think that is just disgusting, especially since the captain is a woman and she's acting like the man's point of view is somehow more valid than the victim, who is the woman. I think that's really, really old-fashioned, and I just don't think it's right. I think that having Jared was struggling with the gun. Jared was there as somebody who was trying to somebody who was assaulting a Zeke. He was one of the assailants in this room, and the fact that she won't take the victim's eyewitness account, even as it comes back, as we all know, that's a thing. Victims come back and they remember things from their assault all the time. Mm-hmm. So it shows it's bad writing. I don't know if it's bad writing or bad character development, or they're trying to force this problem with Michaela and Zeke and Jared, but I don't like it. It's just like last season when they did it with Ben and Grace and Danny. I hated it. I think love triangles are old and we don't need them in television anymore. So I had a big problem with that. I have a really big problem with this captain, and not because I think that she's mean or something like that. I just think that the character is dumb. And I'm sorry for the actress that plays her. I'm sure that she's doing a great job with the writing that she's been given, but it's just, it doesn't sit well with me. As a woman, it doesn't sit well with me. Other than that, I'm really interested in what the turbulence means.
I'm with you on that.
In the show. Yeah. I'm interested in, this whole idea that the callings are now transferable.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting.
Was a really interesting dynamic to the series of Grace being able to have the callings now because of through the blood of the baby.
Mm-hmm.
But it also brings up another dynamic too of, and that they kind of explore in this episode, is does that mean that Grace now also is the death date also transferable?
Well, to the baby, maybe. I don't think that Grace is going to have callings anymore once
the
she
baby's
gives
born.
birth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which also, that brings me to Olive and the fact that she's about to join this cult. And that's obviously going to go somewhere horrible. The fact that she's like, I'm the only one not getting the callings. I'm the blah, blah. Shut up.
It's like, do you like? I would feel happy that I'm not getting the callings. Like, do you want that stress in your life of having to deal with that? Like, you already see what your family is going through, being the ones that have to deal with that and being the ones going through that. Do you want to force that upon yourself?
How about the fact that she told that nutcase that she was Olive Stone, daughter of Ben Stone? Like, she just put her whole family in danger just to get street cred with a stranger who she doesn't know, when she knows that people are actively trying to kill her father and her aunt.
Yeah. Now, the one thing I will say about Olive is I do completely understand the one fear that she has about like her mother and the baby. Now, the possibility of, it's not just the callings, it's the death date, in that if this death date is transferable, it means she's going to end up alone. I do understand that fear. It means in 5 years, she's going to be alone. She's going to be by herself.
No, she won't. She'll have her mom.
No, because but again, she doesn't know that yet. She automatically has this fear that the death date is going to transfer to her mom too. And if the baby is born, are the callings and the death date still going to stay with her mother for carrying the baby?
No, I think that was the realest moment that she had. I thought that was a really sweet scene. That was very genuine. Absolutely. But I don't see how we go from that scene with Cal, a very sweet scene, to her going to that New Believers church.
Oh, I don't get that either. I think it's
and exposing her family in such an irresponsible way.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a stretch. Jumping back to your point, though, with Jared and Michaela, you're absolutely right. And it's something I didn't even really think about until you brought it up, is that, it kind of makes me dislike Jared even more now. Not just because you're right. Look, Zeke may have been the one that fired the gun and shot Michaela. Jared is as equally to blame for that happening as Zeke.
Yes, if not more. He was there in Zeke's apartment to try and hurt him.
Yet he has taken none of the blame. None of it.
None. And he's acting so shifty and gross and terrible.
Yeah. I made my prediction last season that the gun was going to go off in a struggle between Jared and Zeke, and Jared was going to get shot, and he might have died. I'm kind of wishing now that happened.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the way that this is playing out. I really don't like the new captain. I don't like the message that we're sending to people that, an assailant or that Michaela's voice doesn't matter in her own assault. I really don't like it. I hate it, actually. I don't like the woman against woman dynamic. I think that that's also tired and old. And I really don't like the fact that Jared is seemingly getting away with this.
I agree. I that's one of the things I didn't like about everything now, and I'm starting to realize it even more as you're talking about it. Is like, again, the whole Jared not taking the blame of any of this. Like, why wasn't he reprimanded for this? Like, why wasn't there an internal affairs investigation saying, like, why were you in this man's apartment?
Why were you there? Exactly. Why were you there?
Because
totally.
Anytime there is an officer involved shooting, there is an internal affairs investigation. Every time.
I just want to say, I just realized they were not in Zeke's apartment. They were in Michaela's apartment. So,
but even still, an officer being shot, there is an internal affairs investigation. Jared should have been questioned.
Michaela walks in. Yeah, Michaela walks in and she sees both of them in her apartment. That right there is a red flag. Hey, these two were already in my apartment before I even got home.
Yeah.
And yet this captain is like, it checks out. Michaela, you're stupid. Jared's right.
Yeah. And, and the fact of her going on with the whole, like you've solved too many cases from anonymous tips. Who gives a shit how she solved the case?
Right.
The case was solved.
I'm sorry. So you have more of a problem with this solved case than you do with Michaela's shooting. And that's what we're going to get out of this?
And not only that, but the one detective who you're backing between everything, which is Jared, you ask him, do you believe her? And he's like, yes, absolutely. So he's, in that moment, he's actually backing Michaela, but yet you're still against Michaela after that. After the detective that you just backed and you put all your faith into is backing her, you're still not on her side.
I know she has maybe she's a plant by the major. I don't know, but she's just too antagonistic for me.
I can see it. I can definitely see it. On a plus side, though, I will say one of the things I really did enjoy about this episode, and I'm glad this is the route they're going with this, is I'm liking Ben and Michaela almost becoming the mentors of the passengers, and that we're going to get, it seems like every week we're going to get them interacting with other passengers and they're dealing with the callings.
Yeah.
Like the callings are not going to fall purely on Michaela and Ben this season. We're going to see everybody coming to grips with these callings, and Ben and Michaela being the ones there helping them with it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And without Ben and Michaela there to help, TJ could have gone to jail for murder.
Oh, it's not could have. He
for the
would
rest
have.
of his life. Yeah. I mean, so that's really great that, that's all. And not only was he proved innocent, but he also got his mom back at the end, which is really wonderful. And I like the way that they kept us guessing on whether or not TJ really was on the up and up or not.
Yeah, there was a part of me that was wondering, maybe he really did do this.
I was the same way. I was like, oh, you know what? It's true. Not all of them can be good.
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably some criminals there, It was very, very well done.
But, on another note, going back to Jared too, like it was Michaela who, came to the realization that like, hey, all this stuff that was in the apartment that had TJ's prints on it, this girl got out of the garbage. Jared, did you not do a big enough investigation to come to that realization on your own?
Jared is not a good cop.
He's not. He's really not.
He's so...
I think there was a part of...
Jared, go back to Lourdes and go try and make babies and just get out of the show. Thank you.
I think there was a part of Jared in that instance where he wanted to prove that these callings aren't always right. And he was so dead set on that he completely just didn't care about the actual evidence. Because had you actually investigated and seen all these things in boxes, yes, TJ's prints were all over the apartment. When I hear that, I'm thinking they're on the doorknob, they're on the bed frame, whatever. Not it's on junk in a box. Like that could have very easily been investigated and realized that came from somewhere else. She could have bought that shit at a thrift store and it had his prints on it. Like, really?
Well, and they say all over his apartment. It's like, does that report not say exactly where they found prints? Or, you know what I mean? Like, what do you mean all over the apartment? Because I was of the same thought that you were. Oh, then they were on the doorknob and they were on the wall or the bed or whatever, right? Not in a box.
Like, seriously, like, you're a horrible detective. And I think it was because he was just so blinded that he wanted to prove that the callings aren't the answer. They aren't the answer to everything, and that these callings aren't always right. And
we're like totally hating on Jared this
I know. and then I think he comes to that realization when they're in front of that captain and she's like, she says to Jared, do you believe her? And it's in that moment where it's actually a little respectful from Jared where he says, yeah, I believe her. I think that's at that moment where he was like, okay, the calling helped. Like the calling was real.
No, he's doing that to save his oon ass.
That too.
Or with Michaela, not his job, because apparently his job is stellar according to the new, doe-eyed captain. But he's trying to get back in good with Michaela. And so he doesn't care how that happens. Yeah, I believe her. Oh, I believe her. Oh, Michaela's the best. Yeah, I love Michaela. Michaela is wonderful. Detective Stone is great. Love her. See, Michaela, did you see that I went to bat for you? Did you see that you still have a job because of me? Please, Michaela, I want you to forgive me. Screw Zeke. Come on, Michaela, look at me. I'm Jared. Da, 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 da. It's just smarmy.
Meanwhile, his wife is nowhere to be seen.
I know, but I think that she's out of the show. They had a Reddit
I said that
AMA.
last week. Yeah.
Did you see the Reddit? Or I think I sent you the link to the Reddit
You did,
AMA.
and I haven't had a chance to read it.
So there is an AMA on Reddit, and it is Josh Dallas and one of the showrunners for Manifest, and they actually ignored a question. They ignored a couple of questions that I'm sure because they're like, we can't answer these, right? But they ignored one of the questions that says, where's Lourdes? Is she not there anymore? Have you written her off the show? Are we supposed to forget that Jared was married? And that was never answered.
Well, yeah, because I think that's exactly the case. I said that last week. I think they're pretty much just going to write her off that he left her. And
I think Danny also might be getting, I think we've seen the last of Danny.
I think so too. I mean, now that we've got confirmation that the baby is actually Ben's, I think, I think that's the case too. I think that might have been the last we saw of Danny. We could be wrong, but again, we're only the second episode in. So
that felt final.
What?
Last week's Danny scene, that felt final.
Yeah. I could see that too. So, any final notes on this week's episode?
Just that Sanvi is not being very smart about her medical research and this therapist that she has.
Well, you can kind of understand it though, because she doesn't know that this therapist is the major.
Yeah, but she's going through all of these really big lengths to keep her research secret from one of her coworkers, and locking the lab and making sure that everything's encrypted. But then she's just going to therapy and spilling everything. I mean, that's just irresponsible.
But there's also supposed to be a element of doctor patient privilege and confidentiality. So, I mean, when you go to therapy, you usually open up about a lot of things. I just don't think she thinks otherwise.
Maybe there's something to that. I don't know. She just seems really cavalier with her research findings when she's also really trying to keep those findings under wraps in her own medical community.
Do you think there's something more to this other doctor?
Yes, 100%.
You don't think he's just somebody who's got a crush on Sanvi? You think there's something more to him?
Yeah.
Okay. I do too. I just don't know. I honestly, I think he's with Lance. I think he's an inside man with Lance. Vance, sorry. Yeah.
I love him, by the way. I'm so glad he's back.
Me too. I'm so happy because now, and again, and it was cool seeing him actually because that's how the episode started with the explosion and everything. I'm like, wait a minute, what the hell happened? And then I realized it was a flashback to when Vance was supposedly killed, and he wasn't. So, all right. So with that being said, that takes us to feedback, in which we have a bunch this week. Some of it is older. I actually got a message from one of our listeners in which he actually sent us feedback back during in November for Trisha Tanaka is Dead, and we somehow missed it. It was in I think it was an email. And we somehow missed it. So I'm going to read that first. So this is older feedback. This is going back to, a couple episodes ago.
Okay.
And this is from Jason Taboda. He says, "Hi, Ben and Kristen. I've been meaning to call or write in for a while about season 3 of Lost, but haven't had the time. Most recently, I wanted to let you know that all 6 seasons of Giacchino's scores for Lost are available as individual CDs. Correct that season 3 is only 2 discs. I have all 6, and I love his beautiful work," because I mentioned in an earlier episode about Giacchino's score. Now on to the writer's strike feedback. I was surprised to hear that no one corrected that issue. The writer's strike actually happened in the middle of season 4, not season 3, between Meet Kevin Johnson and The Shape of Things to Come. Oh, I didn't realize that.
I
thought it.
Thank you.
I thought it was during season 3. Season 4 was supposed to be 16 episodes, but got shrunk back to 12 or 13 if you count the finale as 2 episodes. Season 3 was meant to be broken into 2 separate sections for a few reasons. Let's travel back. This is kind of long, but I'm going to read the whole thing anyway. Let's travel back to season 2. Most of that season aired with 2 or 3 new episodes, followed by a few weeks of repeats and a few more new episodes, followed by more repeats. Many viewers found this frustrating with the popularity of the show 24 at the time. Viewers wanted new episodes to run interrupted like 24. So the showrunners decided to have the fall premiere and a pod of 6 episodes before the winter break, and then return in the spring with the rest of the season uninterrupted. Okay, that makes sense. In the downtime, they were negotiating with ABC execs for an end to the show. Hughes and Lindelof argued that they were stalling the pace of the show, as seen with the first 6 episodes stalled out on Hydra Island, and Bear Cages and other episodes like Stranger and Exposé meant to stretch out the season. Once they had a deal for shorter seasons and the end in sight, with season 6, they were able to correct the pace. I find that the end of season 3 really takes off, especially from the Brig onwards. Oh, agree. And the Brig, that's the episode with Anthony Cooper.
Okay.
That's the episode with Anthony Cooper and who kills him.
Okay.
I loved hearing the Trisha Tanaka podcast this week. I was hoping for another week so I could get this one on time. Back in the day, I listened to a bunch of Lost podcasts during the Dharma Liars. They did a running commentary episode with Jorge Garcia. Watching Trisha Tanaka, which was hilarious. Oh, I gotta see if I can find that. At the beginning, asking Jorge if he looked like the kid version of Hurley when he was growing up, and his dad looked like Cheech. Quite silly. Randy Nation's timeline. Okay, this was something we had talked about before too. Randy was a manager at Mr. Cluck's. Hurley quit. Hurley bought Mr. Cluck's and Box Company. Meteor hit Mr. Cluck's or Meteorite. Hurley hired Randy at the Box Company. Randy harassed Locke just before Oceanic 815. So there was a period of time, a few weeks or months, between the destruction of Mr. Cluck's and when Hurley decided to head to Australia. We'll see Randy again in the Oceanic 6 Camaro car chase scene. I know that was a lot, but that's all I have for now. Keep up the good work. This has been Jason in San Jose. Namaste.
Aw, thanks, Jason.
So yeah, apologies for missing that a couple episodes ago when we were talking about that. I must have missed that in our email. But yeah, thanks for clarifying a lot of that stuff, especially with the writer's strike and things like that. I was always under the impression that was when it was in season 3. So I must have just had my timeline off a little bit. By a year, apparently.
That's okay. Yeah. We all make mistakes.
So on to our voicemail feedback, in which we have 4. We have 2 for Lost and 2 for Manifest. Our first piece of feedback comes from our friend Gemma.
Yay.
This is actually about last week's podcast, Par Avion. So I haven't listened to this. Maybe she talks about Man from Tallahassee. I don't know. We'll have to listen to find out, but here is the voicemail from Gemma.
Hi, Ben and Kristen. This is Gemma calling from South Wales. This is just quick before I forget, but I'm so sorry I haven't called in recently, but I've been back to work and everything. Christmas has just been crazy. So anyway, I'm just calling about feedback from the most recent episode you did, Par Avion. I was just talking about the others and how there was 2 sets of others. And I totally agree with that. But my thoughts on it has always been that there were original others, that Richard's people that walk around in the brown, clothing and bare feet and whatnot. And they all live at the temple. And then it was Richard who approached Ben to get rid of the Dharma Initiative. And when Ben took over, he sort of created his own group of others and kind of recruited people from, elsewhere maybe. And, like people like Juliet, for example, were taken off from, from Normal Place and taken to the island. So I kind of thought that's always what it was. It was kind of Ben with his new band of others and Richard kind of with and whoever the other guys at the temple are, the Chinese guy and, his the guy who works for him with the glasses. I can't remember their names. I have to go back and rewatch Lost. But yeah, that's what I kind of always thought it was. It was kind of two groups, but they both answered to Jacob. Does that make sense? Those are my thoughts on that. And oh yeah, Mikhail, he keeps saying that he blew himself up with the grenade, but he didn't. He did that to Charlie, and then he manages to swim off, but he reappears later. Like, he runs past Desmond when they've got, oh god, the girl from the freighter, I can't remember her name, is it Natalie or something like that? Yeah, the one with the transponder, and Mikhail is the one that actually saves her life because she was being punctured by a tree branch or something like that. And Mikhail saves her, and then for her life, they let him run off into the jungle. And that's as far as I remember. I know that obviously later he is killed again, and I think it's properly this time, but I cannot remember what happens. So, sorry. But yeah, so he does not die when he blows up Charlie. Yeah, so that's my 50 cents. I'll try and get feedback for next week's episode as well. Oh, by the way, expose. I don't know where you guys have got from I love that episode, because I do not. I just think it's crazy, and I was glad to see the back of him. And I didn't want them to die horribly, but they were gone. But I'm very, very happy to come on the podcast and talk about it with you. Absolutely no problem if I have 5 minutes within my life to do it. But no, I would love to do it, so thank you very much for that. But I do not like that episode. My favourite episode of Lost is Kate's episode, I Do, which you guys already talked about, and some other great ones as well. But yeah, so there's my feedback, and yeah, have a lovely, I hope you guys have a happy new year, and I'm so glad that the podcast is back, and I'll see you soon. Thanks, bye.
It's so good to hear her voice.
Thanks, Gemma. However, I do have to correct her. I was looking this up as she mentioned this. He does, in fact, according to the Lost Wiki, he does die from that grenade. He does not. We see him again in season 6 of flashbacks and Flash Sideways. But Mikhail does, and his death is at the hands of the grenade from blowing up the looking glass. Because I could have swore we never saw him again after that, and I just looked. He does not appear again until season 6, and it's in Flash Sideways. So, sorry, Gemma. According to the wiki, he does in fact perish. Yeah, it says the porthole shattered and water flooded in, drowning Charlie, with Mikhail perishing when the hand grenade detonated. So he does. Mikhail. I was correct. Mikhail does die from the grenade at the looking glass. So it's not the last time we see the character, but it's the last we see of Mikhail alive in the current timeline.
All right.
So
I have spoken. You have spoken.
But thanks, Gemma. It's always great to hear your voice when we get feedback from you.
And I heard her kitty.
That's what I thought that was, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I heard her kitty cat.
So, but that brings us to our buddy Steve, who also left us a piece of voicemail from Man from Tallahassee. So here that is.
Hello, Kristen and Ben. This is Steve, and this is for the Man from Tallahassee, I guess, Florida. Did they ever explain the whole Florida connection there? I don't know. Anyway, just finished watching it, and this is a great episode. There's a lot of stuff in this episode that we learn specifically about John, but Jack is still the worst. He's just the worst. He's making a deal to leave, thinking he's going to be able to come back, and then John plays right into Ben's hands on how he can make sure that Jack stays. But all the stuff we learn in this, even though we don't get all of our regular players, we don't see Hurley, we don't get any more of the Charlie Desmond stuff. So very contained episode, not a bottle episode, I wouldn't call it that, but definitely a contained episode. I did love that Richard, Mr. Friendly, knew. He says, like, Draw and Austin. He doesn't call anybody by their first name. He calls them by their last name. That's kind of a cool kind of character trait from him. And we see some more of the Juliet and Jack interaction. We get to see Alex, and we get to see Rousseau find out that her daughter is alive, and we get to find out that Alex finds out that her mother is alive, and so a lot of things. And correct me if I'm wrong on this, but Ben wasn't actually born on the island. Wasn't Ethan the only one that was born on the island? I don't remember now. So can't wait to hear what you guys thought. Talk to you later.
Can we talk about the fact that Alex was born on the island?
Alex was born on the island, and going further to Steve's point, you're right. Ben was not,
and Aaron.
Ben was not born on the island. I don't believe Ethan was born on the island. I think he was recruited because we do see him off the island. I think Alex. I think you're right. Alex, out of everybody that we saw in this episode, Alex is the only one born on the island. Yeah. Ben was not born on the island. He was brought to the island by his father when his father joined the Dharma Initiative.
Yup.
Roger Workman.
It's not Workman, it's Workman.
So, yeah, Ben was not born on the island. Ethan was not born on the island. You're right. Alex was the only one actually born on the island of the group of characters that we see in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
So, cool. But thanks for the feedback, Steve.
Thank you, my friend.
So that leaves us into the feedback for Manifest, in which we're going to jump. Steve also left us some feedback for that. So let's play that now.
Hey, Ben and Kristen, it's Steve, and I just watching Manifest, and I had to stop and record this, and I'll add on to it when the episode is over. But I literally laughed out loud when Ben said, it's the only thing that makes sense, because how much of this is making sense? I mean, I love the show, but just one of those, that line just hit me. So, all right, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I'm back. So it was nice that later in the episode, Ben acknowledged that none of this is making sense, or he said to Michaela something like, "We say that a lot." So I thought that was great, but I don't get why she had to lie to her captain. I guess maybe, but it just seemed like you could have very simply said, he was on the plane, and so I continued investigating, found the key card. The key card led me to the security office. The security office, I saw the guy's boots, and then just take it from there as it's what detectives do, right? I mean, they take facts and put them together to come to a conclusion. Anyway, it just seemed like she didn't really need to say it was an anonymous tip. She could have just she didn't have to mention the calling. She could have just said what happened. So anyway, I hope they don't pull some kind of a twist where the paternity confirmed test confirmed that it's like Danny's baby, because where would she have gotten Danny's saliva and to check the paternity against him? So I hope they don't try to do that at the end there. I'm glad they found out that the kid was not the murderer and why his prints were in her room and stuff. So I thought that was really, really a cool resolution to it. And of course, setting us up for the rest of the next few episodes here, at least with Olive, and we're suspicious of anybody new in their lives at this point. So, all right, can't wait to hear what you guys thought. Talk to you later.
I love him.
I know we mentioned that. I'll mention this again at the end of the podcast, but I got to record a podcast with Steve and his buddy Mark. And it was fun, and we got to talk a little bit about the feedback that he leaves and everything too. So it's always fun when he gets to leave his feedback for the podcast.
I agree.
But that leaves us with one final piece of feedback, and this one comes from our friend Jill, who Kristen totally called out last week in having never leave us feedback. So apparently all it takes to get you to leave us feedback is we got to call your ass out. So I haven't listened to this yet either. We're going to be listening to this for the first time together. Here is feedback from my friend Jill.
Hi, Ben and Kristen. It's Jill. I'm calling because I was called out on last week's podcast for never leaving any feedback, and you're right. I never have. I am sorry for that, but I do love listening to you guys. So yeah, I just wanted to basically let you guys know that I am super excited that Manifest is back. I love Manifest Minutes. I think season 2 started out with a bang, and I hope it continues down that road. Really excited to find out where things are going to go. I hope that bad things are not in the cards for Zeke. I'm really not happy with Jared right now. Honestly, I think he's been quite an ass lately, and he needs to just go away. What else? So also Olive, I'm not really a big fan of her attitude. I kind of get it though, especially at the conclusion of the episode this past week, because it's true, if everybody is having this calling now, what does that mean for her? Is she going to be the last one standing? I hope that's not the case. I hope they figure everything out. But yeah, it's funny how much we hated Grace last season, and now I really kind of like her. She's definitely turned herself around. So I hope that continues as well. I think that's all I have for Manifest right now. I need to rewatch it again before the new episode. But again, I just wanted to call and say hey, and also to some of the other listeners, Steve and Des. I love it when you guys call in with your feedback too. It's good to hear from you guys. And Ben and Kristen, love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Yay!
She's right though. It is funny how we went from how hating Grace as much as we did last season to being excited now that, you know, she's pregnant with Ben's baby, and we went from hating Grace and liking Jared to the complete opposite.
And you know what it is? It's all communication. I like partnerships that are not secretive, that are open and honest. Like, I think that you don't lose storytelling that way. I think that you actually enrich storytelling. You don't need it to be soap opera-y. You don't need it to be this, oh, dun, 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 I'm not going to tell you my deep, dark secret, even though we're married or we're in a relationship. Like, fuck that. Excuse my language.
Agreed.
I'm trying to be better about my language this year. Just wanted to let you know.
We'll see how well that goes.
Hey, I have done really well today.
You have. I think that's the first swear you've let slip today.
I said bullshit once.
Oh, well, that's fine. That's fine. That's actually going to come into play a little bit later.
I know.
So with that being said, you know, like Jill mentioned, like she likes hearing the feedback from Des and Steve and everybody. We like hearing the feedback from everybody. So if you do have feedback to leave us, there are multiple ways that you can do that. First and foremost, we are on Facebook at facebook.com/Lost Revisited. We
are on Instagram.
We're back on Instagram.
We're back, baby. We are on Instagram at Lost Revisited Pod. Bitches, I'm so excited.
Did you say Lost Revisit Pod or Lost Revisited Pod?
I said Lost Revisited Pod.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I missed it.
I said it. Lost Revisited Pod on Instagram. There's a new post. There's a new post in stories. We're cooking. We're going along with Instagram. Yeah.
We're cooking with fire.
We're also on Twitter at Lost Revisit Pod, which I tweeted this morning.
You did indeed. You can email us at lostrevisitedpod@gmail.com.
And if you want to leave us a message, you can always record it and send it in on any one of our platforms, but email it because it'll be easier that way.
You can do it any way you want, but email it.
Do it that way.
Any recommendations from you this week on things for people to check out?
I saw Bombshell this week, and it was amazing. I also saw Just Mercy in the theaters, and that was amazing. Just Mercy was the best book that I read all year last year, and it was so phenomenally well done as a movie.
Is Just Mercy the one with Jamie Foxx?
Yes. And Michael B. Jordan.
Yes, I wanted to see that actually. So that's so good to know that it's that good.
I honestly I think it's a great movie on its own. I think that reading the book really enriches the movie, but that's just because I thought the book was so phenomenal. If you haven't read that book, read the book. If you haven't seen the movie, see the movie. If you want to do either or, do both. Just get the Equal Justice Initiative and Bryan Stevenson and Walter McMillan, get those people in your brain, because I really think that their story is important, and the work that Bryan Stevenson has been doing for the past 30 years is really important. And I'm so glad that it's being put out there now.
Nice. Yeah, that's a movie I definitely want to see. I haven't read the book, but maybe I'll have to do that as well.
Oh, the book's so good.
How
about you?
I don't really have anything to recommend this week, so instead I'm going to dive a little deeper into what we talked about at the top of the podcast about the new podcast that we have planned.
We're really excited about this.
For those of you listening right now, obviously you're hearing this a little bit later than usual. And that's because we had a little technical difficulty when we attempted to record before. And that was on my part. I was on my laptop instead of my desktop, and my laptop just it wasn't up to scratch when it came to recording. I was having issues. But Kristen and I still had a conversation. And in that conversation, Kristen brought up a list of Brad Pitt's movies ranked, in which we went over them. And we realized a lot of this list, in our opinion, was very, very wrong.
It was bullshit.
That should have been in the top 3 were like in the bottom of the list. Movies that were at the top should have been nowhere near the top. And again, this is our opinion, as it was the wrong opinion of the person that wrote the article. And one of the most
well, we're always
one
right.
of the most common phrases that came up as we were talking about this list is, "This is bullshit." So
bullshit.
Was born our new podcast, Ben and Kristen Present This Is Bullshit, in which that's bullshit? Okay,
no, that's bullshit.
All right, so sorry, it's
that's
only been
bullshit.
a day and I already forgot what the title's going to be. In which it's basically just going to be us doing things like that. We're going to find these lists online. These lists can be sent to us from listeners, and we're going to go over the lists. We're going to say where we think they got the list wrong, where they think they got the list right, give our own opinion of the list, and anything we think does not belong in the list or is in the wrong spot, we're going to tell you exactly what we think, that's bullshit.
Or just, any subject that we think is bullshit.
Yeah, that too. It could be a movie that got a horrible review that we think deserves a good one. We're going to go over it because that's bullshit. So it's going to be all in good fun. It's not going to be anything too over the top serious. But it was just an idea that we came up with and in a casual conversation, and we're going to run with it.
Yeah, and if you like our banter, where we do go off the rails or we do talk about stuff that doesn't pertain to Lost, then you'll probably like this, because it's just going to be us talking to each other like we normally do, just
pretty much
recording.
Yep, that's pretty accurate. But I think that's going to wrap it up for this episode of the podcast.
Yes, sir.
No, God, next episode. Do we really have to do it?
Hey, we can do it like we did that one episode that we hated.
Oh,
where we talk about it for like 10 minutes.
No, you know what? It's going to be interesting because I haven't watched Expose in a while. So, because I usually tend to avoid it. Maybe I'll find some things about the episode I actually do kind of like or I think are interesting. So,
no,
I
won't
at all. Just because I don't like Nikki and Paulo. Not at all. So it'll be interesting to hear a discussion of it. But next episode, we are indeed season 3, episode 14, Expose. And we'll see how that goes. But until that time, thank you as always for being listeners of the podcast. Thank you for liking, following, sending in feedback, all of that. But until next time, we'll see you guys further on down that rabbit hole. Take care.
Bye.
We have to go back, Kate. We have to go back!